Real estate update today. Not yesterday, and if you're watching tomorrow, it could be different, but we'll talk about that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. I'm Tony Freese in Central Texas, brokered with Uncommon Realty. Well, that was just bonkers, wasn't it? In the early weeks of the COVID recession, it looked like the housing market was headed for a slump, or maybe even a crash. But after a few weeks of no toilet paper or Lysol, or I seem to remember having trouble securing rice, everyone thought it was a great time to move. In fact, bidding wars around here and all across the country set all-time records for home price growth. Inventory, or listings, was crushed. The number of days in the market, evaporated. Well, as predicted, the trajectory of these indicators has flipped. Home listings were up slightly in May and much more in June, and sales have fallen to the slowest pace since the onset of all this. So, in a minute, I'm going to revisit market indicators of the towns and smaller cities in between Austin and San Antonio that I looked at in February. You'll see that around here anyway, some things haven't really changed very much, so stay tuned for that. Every indication is that the U.S. housing market in general is shifting a bit in the buyer's favor. Not a crash, but maybe an easing back to normal. How come? Well, one factor might be that housing begins to slow down in late summer as the start of school nears, even though that didn't really happen in the Great Migration of 2020. As I mentioned in another earlier video, it most likely comes down to shoppers finally hitting that ceiling of what they're prepared to pay. Home prices cannot continue to grow at a 17% year-over-year rate. That, and a lot of folks just got burned out of bidding wars against people loaded with cash. They just couldn't waive the contingencies like that. You know, for instance, they need to make sure their old house sells, and if it doesn't, well, then they need to be able to back out of a contract. Cash-rich buyers, God bless them, don't need to worry about any of that. So many people that rely on mortgages and old-fashioned ways of doing things couldn't compete and just decided to wait. By the way, a lot of those folks with cash that wanted to move did. They got theirs. They've moved already. It's another reason some of this is turning around. Inventory, though, is still in a bit of a glut, but will rise as all of those new construction projects are completed in the next several months and more holdouts decide it's finally time to list their resale home. Also, a lot of homeowners that are protected from stimulus programs like mortgage forbearance will probably decide to just sell instead of restarting their mortgages when the programs end. If they do end. In that case, if they do, more inventory. Texas cities, large and small, are still booming. San Antonio's median home price shot up 17% in June compared to the same time last year, a little more than the national average. Austin is trending up 22.6%. Actually, all the towns that I covered in that February video have seen significant price increases. Let's look at some of the statistics comparing today with what I looked at in February. Actually, back then I was looking at December figures, and these are from July, so it's a 7-month difference. We're going to check out home prices. When considering home prices, most people look at median closing price. That's taking all the closing prices in the last month and picking the one in the middle. It's not an average. We'll also look at the number of homes for sale. Obviously, the more homes on the market, the more choices at some point buyers would have more negotiating possibilities, and eventually with an overabundance of homes for sale, prices would theoretically come down. And finally, months worth of inventory. You basically take that number of active listings and divide it by the number sold. So the amount of time a home remains on the market is kind of factored in. It bears repeating that this is another way to express how many homes are available for the number of people that are out there buying them. If we could hold or freeze the number of homes listed right now, how many months would it take to run out? In a balanced market, experts say 6 months is healthy. You'd run out of homes in 6 months. Less than that, you've got a seller's market like we've got now. And if there's more than 6 months, you're looking at a buyer's market. Buyers could then again dictate some of the terms in a negotiation. In my service area, I find these indicators vary depending on how close they are to the big cities. In Kyle, just outside of Austin, the median home price increased from $248,000 in December to $346,000 in July. And they're up a whopping 46.7% from July 2020. Okay, that's probably to be expected. It's just outside of Austin. The months of inventory did rise up to 0.6 of a month from a ridiculous 0.2 in December. Obviously still very low, but trending in a buyer-friendly direction. Also looking good are the number of homes for sale, 49 compared to 21 in December. It's obviously as if Kyle experienced the same kind of crazy market explosion that Austin and other nearby areas experienced and are recovering from, if only somewhat. Cibolo and Schertz are just outside of San Antonio. Kind of a similar story. Median price is up about $56,000 from December and 20% from a year ago. 3 points over the national average. The months of inventory is also trending up, and there are 75 more homes for sale now than in December. I've been helping 3 families in this area, and we've definitely seen more choices, and there's even been a couple of price reductions on the MLS. As we get to the center point in between Austin and San Antonio, we still see those price increases, but the months of inventory and the number of homes for sale are going the wrong way. This makes me think that some people who earlier considered Austin and San Antonio are now looking at these alternatives. In San Marcos, the price increased from $284,000 to $293,000 in the last 7 months, and they're up 17.8% over July of 2020. Typical. But there's fewer homes for sale, and the months of inventory dipped into that fraction of a month territory. Seguin had a slight price increase from December, but 20% over July of 2020. And again, the number of homes for sale and the months of inventory are headed south instead of north. Finally, New Braunfels. I remember when the median price broke $300. It's $310 now. Months of inventory is the same. It didn't change. It's low, just over 1 month. And there's almost 60 less homes on the market than there were in December. I guess if you live right in between San Antonio and Austin, you're just going to have to wait for these trends to change directions. I've said before, I don't expect the prices to actually come down anytime soon. In most areas, they probably won't continue going up for reasons I talked about earlier. In others, though, like Austin and some of the surrounding counties, prices may continue to go up. If you're looking for assistance in finding a home here or anywhere in between Austin and San Antonio, jot down this number or just go ahead and type it into your phone right now. Do it right now. I'll wait. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a little like. Maybe give me a comment. That helps. Anyway, you got the number on your phone? I want to hear all about your exciting plans. But you got to reach out. Call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. Thank you for watching this video to the very end, and if you want to learn more about the area, check out one of these videos right now.